What's up, guys? How's it going? How's your day
Hey.
going? Tell me about it. What'd you have for breakfast?
Popcorn.
That sounds amazing. Not really. Breakfast?
I had a couple of hard
I don't
boiled-
know, dude. I don't know.
You had what choice?
I had 2 hard-boiled eggs.
With anything?
No, just the eggs.
You
Wait,
monster.
no salt?
Monster. Well,
What's wrong
welcome
with
back, everyone. So last week we were talking about Season of the Hunt. We've been talking about some of the events going on currently in NA, discussing over topics like the armor given to us, the scrolls that were given to us, general discussion around the progression and the current state of BDO. How's you guys' weekend been? I can say that for myself. I didn't really see myself pushing XP, but I don't know how much XP I gained last weekend over the weekend, but I definitely went to 50% to 63. I don't know what I started with though. I pushed a lot of XP over last week. How's it been for you? Have you guys cracked open your sweet free gear? Because I know all of you are completely not over soft cap, especially Tim. Kappa.
Whoa.
I have not cracked it open. I was curious, though. One of the pieces, I think it's the gloves.
Mm-hmm.
It has more accuracy than Beggs, like a lot more.
Really?
Like it has 88 or something compared to the 50 that Beggs gives, and
Wait.
it's kind of crazy.
And is it the same DP?
I don't think it's the same. Well, it's hard to say because my gloves are calf wrist, but it's definitely going to be a loss in survivability for a huge increase in accuracy against like evasion-based people.
So-
But that's only for 7 days.
My question is, do those pieces of gear have like slots, like crystal slots? Because is that huge amount of accuracy, like is it also more with a combination of Jin Vipers?
I don't know. Maybe, yeah, that might be it.
I think
That
it
could be
is.
it. I don't know. Does it have crystal slots? How do you guys know?
It doesn't.
I'll open
It
mine.
doesn't.
Hold on. I'm gonna.
They didn't last year.
That
It
makes
doesn't.
sense. I think a lot of the kited gear is supposed to have built-in crystals into it because in
Okay.
like battle arena or trial characters or whatever, there's
No
different
crystals.
versions that have like extra evasion versus extra whatever else. And I think it's supposed to simulate different crystal setups.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't personally opened my gear at all. I just heard from somebody, so that's where that info came from.
Okay. Anything else going on for you guys during the events? Anything exciting happen throughout the week? You guys get any gains?
I've been catching a lot of horses, man. A lot of horses.
I started a new guild.
How'd that go?
Oh yeah.
So far, so good. I'm pretty excited about it. Some idiots joined. Moreland TV, I think, joined.
There it is.
I'm basically running the guild now, to be honest.
He typed once in officer chat asking for a shadow GM role.
I mean, that seems pretty legit. So
That
this,
was
go on.
Go ahead,
sorry.
sorry.
Okay.
That's good.
Jinx, you owe me. You owe me these pen libras that I'm working on. God damn it. So if you guys want to find out anything around the previous episode last week, you guys will be able to find information in the cards for the video and links for everyone in the description down below. So this week we've got Tim joining us for again for the second time. Strat, this is your second or third time here. These guys are both streamers as well as Strat does the YouTubes as well. Tim, have you been keeping up with YouTube? You've been keeping up with YouTube, Tim? I got my fucking eye on you.
No, but I will be once some free time.
Okay. If you
Comes
guys
back.
want to check out these guys' channels, their links will also be included in the guest section in the description down below. Guys, I appreciate you making the time to be here. Thanks for being here. What's up? I hope you enjoyed your hard-boiled
Thanks,
eggs choice.
They were very good, man.
So this week, we're going to do things a little bit differently. I want to pick your guys' brains about what it's like being not a player in this game, but rather a creator in this game. I want to talk about your guys' streams. I want to talk about your guys' channels. I want to talk about your guys' dailies, some of the things that you guys do, what goes through your head. And really, let's try going down a little bit of a different route, but still in the genre of BDO here. So my question to you guys starting off, what does your guys' average schedule look like as a streamer, creator, YouTuber, Instagrammer, Kappa, in BDO? Who wants to take his choice? Start me off here.
Yeah. So for me personally, like when I started streaming, I was also like uploading YouTube videos. I would do one a week, and then I would also do about 25 to 30 hours of streaming. I try for 30 hours every single week. Usually that schedule is just like evening times because I do like work in the day. And so it's just as much free time as I possibly can to make content on the game, pretty much.
Orlin.
For me, it's usually Tuesday through Saturday in the afternoon, and then I'm supposed to take Sunday and Monday off and do other stuff. But sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. There's been times, especially with BDO, where there's new content where I'm just suddenly will notice that like I haven't taken a day off for 2.5 weeks. So then I'll just disappear for 3 days.
Stratty.
Yeah, so I work full time every day, obviously, and I usually get off work, and 10 minutes later, I'm starting the stream up, and then I edit usually after that. So any clips that I have, can pull from my folder and just like throw it in after a stream. So it's like usually it's like probably at least 5 hours a night when I do stream. But I work from home, so it's not like it's that stressful because I'm just sitting here all day anyway, so it's not a big deal.
And Tim.
So I used to have a pretty steady schedule of making sure that, Saturdays are always really important, and then streaming at least 3 days a week. And then those days would alter from time to time, depending on what's going on in my life. And I tried to keep up with YouTube, especially during the Xbox release and all that kind of stuff. But once the PvP scene not died, but got weird.
Came down.
And the opportunity to come back to the Siege podcast on PC, with Zethian stepping down and stuff like that, it made sense to move to PC. And then I realized that my content wasn't matching up between Xbox and PC, or YouTube and Twitch. So now with a bunch of personal stuff going on, I think I'm the only dad here, right? So having a son and some personal issues and stuff like that, I'm making sure that I stream at least 3 to 4 days a week, always 3. And I try to communicate my schedule the best I possibly can. But that's such a basic of being a content creator, is having a repeatable schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a really tough time with that, but I know that this is a huge passion, and I take from you personally, Fake, you're a big kind of role model to me of just going all in full-time content creation, because I do have a huge passion for this. I just have to figure out my shit so I can actually make that transition in my life. So
I appreciate that.
True.
Well, let's the only thing we can do is keep giving it time, man. I hope everything smooths out soon. All of us as creators in BDO. So my question to you guys is, and I know this might sound like a weird question, but give it some thought, is what is it like being a regular streamer, regular creator, regular YouTuber, uploader, for not just Twitch, BDO specifically? Because and for an example for you guys, for me, it's daunting. It's kind of exhausting. It's like, and not in a bad way, but in the sense of like, I feel like I can play any other game and easily make videos with so many more moments and capture so many little things. But the thing is about other games and things that I play is that the life of those games are kind of short-lived. This game itself is like a marathon, and making like regular enhancing videos as you start to get into the progression of like past soft cap is kind of insane. So the sandbox that I feel like I'm playing in sometimes feels limited. So thinking of ideas outside of the box doesn't always happen all the time as well. So like recently, anyone can do enhancing videos, anyone can do PvP videos, anyone can do guides, and it's not to say that those aren't great ideas as well. But recently did a video where I had 1 billion silver, and I went to the night vendor to buy anything that he offered me. It's hard necessarily to think of stuff that I can do like that all the time that also doesn't take away from like the actual what this game is, which is the progression. And being able to show people progression all the time doesn't necessarily happen all the time as easily as you guys know in the current state. So I feel like some of these chapters and episodes that I'm working on are starting to become further and further spaced out. And it's definitely now at this point where it's just I need to have different goals to keep things in mind and trying to work on different things, such as like having this podcast and having different episodes and different things to offer people a variety in the terms of like the spice of my content and what you guys also do. So that's kind of a short example of how I feel. What about you guys?
So I started off my like flagship thing on YouTube was that Road to Soft Cap. I started playing the game a while ago, and that was like my whole journey. I kind of try to document that as much as possible, and going from having literally zero gear, not knowing how to play the game, to understanding the game and being past soft cap, I could just feel this it immediately just halts as soon as you get to soft cap. Like, no, I felt like before I could crank out a video a day and no problem, and it would be interesting enough, it would have enough fun stuff going on in it that would make it still entertaining. But that has seemed to come to almost a grinding halt because, like you said, this game has got a really long form content cycle. You can't just boot up a game, play a match, and it's done in 20 minutes. Behind one clip of you buying a Tet Tungrat earring, there's like 100 hours grinded. There's like, it's like just a bunch of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a lot of work that is not entertaining. And on the YouTube platform, especially, no one gives a shit if you grinded 20 hours in a day. No one cares.
Right.
They just want to see the click. They want to see
Unless you montage it, because there are.
But they want.
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I get you.
But that, I mean, how many times can you do that until it gets
Yeah.
horrible, right?
Yeah.
So you do it 2 times.
Come grind with me. Hey, we're a Knockman. Hey, we're a Knockman again. Hey, we're a Knockman again. Hey, we're a Knockman again. Ooh, we're in history.
That's my
I just
move.
found the wrong portal. I'm going to Knockman.
That's my move. Hey, just got done with an hour. It's just horrible. It's just you do it too many times. It's just not.
I feel what you're saying, yeah, because there's the creative drive to want to do something different.
Yeah, and then if you do, like you said, do that thing where you did that video spending 1 billion silver, like that sucks because you lost tons and tons and tons of hours of work basically just for a video. And of course that's always worth it, but like really,
You
that's
can only do it
that's a
so
side-
often, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can't progress, and that's what a lot of people want to see. So
Moral choice, Tim. Anything to contribute?
Yeah, I'd like to go off of what you were just talking about, Strap, because I think you're 100% right. My YouTube channel was mildly successful, and it's because of Xbox and making some guides, right? Been playing the game for 3.5 years, and for somebody, I remember how hard it was to get back in or to start BDO. It's so complicated, and I'm still mastering stuff. And so even some of the best YouTube guides out there, Blade Boquez, Moreland, stuff like that. It's from 2017 or whatever. The game had changed so much, and then we were getting these fresh patches in startup for Xbox, and so it was really easy because when you don't know something, it's almost not even Googling anymore. You just YouTube it, right? And so I tapped into some fresh new guides, super easy. Just tried to type or talk really clearly, but I have no idea how you make YouTube videos for stuff outside of guides. I'm not creative enough for that, and I don't know. I don't have the headspace to even try to figure that out at this point. So to me, what I've realized, and a large part of this is because of Lurkin and Choice's stream, is I think this game really lends itself to Twitch because of how long of a cycle it is to make a gain after soft cap. So you put these lofty goals. I mean, we're going to be playing this game forever, right? In your mind, and you put these lofty goals, level 63 or 6,000 gear score, whatever it is. And then people can come into your channel and go, oh, so how's it going, getting to 63, or how's it going trying to get this AP or these CAFRs or whatever the case is. And so you can create content, BDO is almost like a chat room with, just something going on in the background. And so you're telling a story through these big lofty goals, and people get drawn into the personality and the goals. So when it happens, you get that pen click or you get that level or whatever, maybe you can get some clips or something off of it, but it's really about, I hate the word community, but it is about community and the story. It's about
I hate the word
storytelling.
community. That's like, sorry, go on.
It's so overused. That's a digression, but
I mean, your opinion. I disagree, but I think it matters of how you perceive it. But sorry, go on. Let's not veer away from the story.
But I just had a realization of that because I've tried podcasts. Obviously, I'm still trying to manage the circus that is the Siege podcast and all that. And there's still a lot of untapped potential there that I've been trying to work on. Being more of a staple in how I need to be able to bring what happens in Siege to the masses. And so right now, my story is, what does it take to start a Siege guild from scratch? right? Because Sasha and I were talking at TwitchCon that we were both kind of envious of Choice, because he just gets on and grinds like a maniac, and he gets all these gains, and it's really good for his story. And doing politics and officer meetings and inner guild person, you know, some Bill hates Ted and they're fighting and we have to mediate that. It takes up a lot of time that you really can't stream. And so I'm coming at this Aftershock thing, thanks to another content creator, with this kind of idea of let's stream and talk about as much as humanly possible and show what it takes to start a siege, and not from scratch, but pretty much.
So yeah, I agree a lot with what Tim said in terms of I feel like YouTube really lends itself well to guides. That's primarily what I did on my channel, is like basic questions that I'd get in my stream. I would just like to summarize them in a more thought out video and thoughtful video. That way there I don't need to give like a half-assed answer to people that ask similar questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that there is a huge want, at least for me, right? So the game that I came from, there was a ton of people that made YouTube content, and a lot of it was guide oriented because there was a ton of quests that you could do. It wasn't as easy as, you know, click the auto path button and run to your next NPC and complete the quest. Like the quests, there was stuff to do, there was riddles, there was stuff like that. So a lot of people had guides on content. And when I came to BDO as a new player, I really struggled with not being able to Google, how do I do this? How do I do that? Like usually I could search literally any topic on the game I was playing and I would find a YouTube video that was like dedicated to that topic. And I think that there's a lot of that, you know, hasn't really been tapped into. And not only that, but with the ever-changing landscape of BDO, it seems like making really well thought out guides, it can change in just a few months.
Yeah.
Like some of the guides that I've made, they was literally outdated like the next patch.
Yep.
And so I feel like that's why a lot of people don't make those guides.
That's one of the main reasons why I don't do it, because it's a challenge.
That's why I stopped too.
Yeah, for sure. But if you can, you know, if you make guides on like lasting topics, something that you know is probably not going to be changed in a while, and something that, you know, most players are still going to benefit from, or even just updated guides where you're recycling information, but you include like so for example, I think Tim, you have a new player's guide. If you just updated that guide with a lot of the same info, but add in the fact that, hey, you can get 3 free pets from this new quest, and I recommend doing that, I think that a lot of people would benefit from that re-upload, because people see that, hey, this is a new video. It came out, you know, just a month ago. I'm starting to play BDO, and, you know, I want to get as many tips as I can. So I feel like it's okay in that aspect to recycle that sort of content and just update it in a sense. But long-lasting guides on topics that we don't think are going to change, I think there's a huge need for it, and actually a huge want for it too.
I mean, I couldn't agree with you more.
I think the answer is almost just keeping up with the patches. Some of my most successful videos were the really well promoted from Pearl Abyss, new player guides and stuff like that. But outside of that, it was just major patches. And so it's almost telling a story on YouTube if you just kind of hit those patches all the time. And I feel like that would be a really good way of maintaining it. And then every once in a while you could do, you know, like a recap every 6 months or something like that, where you kind of, I'm sorry, my cat. Where you kind of go, hey, so if you're starting off new, or maybe every year or something like that, how to start BDO in 2020, how to start BDO in 2019, stuff like that. But I think keeping up with those patches and coming out with YouTube videos like that is extremely important for the success of trying to make YouTube through guides.
Yeah, definitely on a week-by-week basis for the active population. I think that a lot of people would enjoy patch videos and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know if this is super relevant, but at the end of the day, like, YouTube is sort of like a search engine. And so you're going to be getting the most amount of views over a long period of time for the most generalized video that you can really think of, that a lot of people are going to have this question for several months. I don't think that there's a lot of new players that are going to search what happened on, you know, Tuesday's patch in October the 8th. Like, you know, if you have a title like that, not many people, unless it's the active population, are going to be like looking at that. Whereas if you made a guide that's like how to get 3 free pets in BDO, then that's sort of a title, that's sort of a concept. Instead of just talking about the entire patch, you're talking about specifically that aspect of it. I think a lot of people would like stumble their way upon that video. So it really, the way that you tailor that content's got to be very search friendly. Something that you think that someone is going to type into that search bar, that particular title or those particular tags that you put on that video.
See, I think it's great that you guys have the motivation to do that, because that exact thing right there is what burned me out on YouTube. I wanted to keep making like more and more in-depth and advanced videos on topics, and all I found is that the more specific and in-depth I got, the less people could absorb it or cared to click on it in the first place. And that really, if I wanted to be successful on YouTube, I just needed to stick with the absolute basics. And man, I don't know, after 3 years, like, I just don't really want to keep rehashing the basics. I want to go deeper and talk about stuff that I personally find interesting. So that's what kind of had me fade away from YouTube and focus more on Twitch over time.
I think that's fair. Go on.
I want to add one thing to that, Marlon, because you're 100% right. My most successful YouTube video is like my second or third one, and it's absolute garbage. And people keep watching it, and it's got this weird clickbaity title to it. Yeah, buddy, I'll give you some snacks. So it's like how to make huge passive money, and it's basically like just grind CP. But that's what people keep going to. So I 100% agree. If you start coming out with these really complex videos or specialized content, it just doesn't work. But there's it's just the masses. You have to promote yourself to the masses, because that's where they are, is YouTube.
I get people to this day, every single day, coming into my stream asking me when I'm going to make a 2019 node guide. And I'm just like, who are these people? Do they play the game? Why do they even care about nodes right now? Like, there's so many, but that's just, I don't know. Those are the guides that have the most number of views.
I'm kind of fearful of that's like the traffic that I'm going to drive to my stream, because I don't want to be, for me, like, I'm concerned. It's not that it's a bad idea. I'm just concerned that it's going to be I'm just going to get so many of that type of, like, those type of players, questions, et cetera, et cetera. And it's not that it's a bad thing. For me, I just feel like I'm more interested in trying to just get a laugh out of something. And
same here. Yeah.
But at the same time, like, it's funny because I didn't expect some of, like, my worst, most sarcastic guides to also be some of, like, the most recommended BDO videos. Like, I have this class, the class tier list that I made that was just one smartass video, and yeah, that did really, really well. People were not happy. Some people weren't. Some people didn't see the satire, and it's not fair for new players to come in and see videos like that, and then all of a sudden, yeah. But and now I'm like sitting here being like, maybe I should actually put out a tier list. I'm like, but if I do that, that kind of goes against the reason I made this tier list in the beginning, because it's just a joke. But maybe I should just do something seriously. But I don't know.
I would get hits, man. I mean, that's one of the questions people always, what's the best class? What's the best class? Like, it's those kind of overly basic questions from people who don't really play the game that get all the hits, because those are the questions that have hundreds of thousands of people searching for them. There's not that many people that are searching for really specific questions, maybe a few thousand.
Yeah, I mean, I put the most amount of time into my archaeologist map guide, and it's got like 1/20th of the views as like a basic Zerker movement guide. Like, the more basic the video, the more you're going to find those new players that are coming into the game and want to know stuff. And like, for example, your node guide, Moreland, when I started BDO, I followed your node guide. And in fact, my nodes are still set up based on your 2017 node guide, because I haven't touched them in that long.
Hell
so,
yeah.
Like, I would love a 2019 node guide. That would be great.
Even Choice is telling me to do it. Oh, okay.
Hey, and I just managed to snag a costume. Hey, let's go. Big gains, big gains. So, moving on, I think this is great to slide into the next question. Are there many common challenges that you currently face as a creator? And this can range this can have a different amount of answers for each of us, because I know there's a different range of style of creators that we have in here. So for example, I would say that something that I commonly face is sometimes I get too record heavy and my videos back up, and then I just have a lot to edit, which is good. I don't normally get caught behind in my edits because I usually stay on top of it, but there's just like, I have a bunch of ideas that I still want to do right now, and I can't because I still need to catch up on all these videos that I've done. But it's funny thing, I find that the most videos get backed up when I play other games, because again, I feel like it's so easy making content on so many other games because all these other games don't offer a marathon. So there's still like little things that I got to throw up my channel that I know aren't going to be like, they aren't going to do as good statistically, but I just still don't want to take away from the core value of like why I put up what I put up, and it's to have fun and still try to like learn, and still, you know, I have someone who helps me edit and, you know, help them learn as well more. So we're still trying to go outside of our box. Other things that I would say that I face is that, not as of recent, but I have a really bad time of taking care of like my sleep schedule. Like the stream sometimes messes up my sleep schedule, and if I don't like discipline myself to the T, then there's just times where my stream may start a little bit later. My video, my edit might start a little bit later. Things might get a little bit caught behind, but I feel like I'm pretty damn good with that. And then other things I don't necessarily feel like I'm out of ideas. I just wish I wish BDO was a bigger sandbox so I could create more ideas with more impact. Because right now I feel like I'm in a very limited sandbox and I'm limited with what I can make. And, you know, getting down to these little intricate details, it's not going to be... I feel like I'm only going to have so many extravagant things to show in BDO. And I wish there was just more things that I could do, and a variety of corners and avenues that I could just be a little bit more creative with that doesn't involve enhancing PvP and RNG. So that's where I'm at. What about you guys?
One of the struggles that I'm kind of facing at the moment is the like I said, the content cycle for BDO is really long. It's really long form. You know, in terms of streaming, especially, you know, I only stream for like 4 or 5 hours a night. I don't have any other time to do it. But BDO streams happen to be more successful, from what I've understood, when they're longer. When you're able to stream more and kind of showcase more of the, I guess, long form content cycle, it helps you tell that story a little bit better. Because, you know, the people are able to see that you're putting in like 6-7 hours, you know, of work. And, you know, when you're doing longer streams, a lot of times what ends up happening is they don't have to be as action packed. You know, in my head, I don't know if this is how anyone else feels, but in my head, the shorter the stream, the more entertaining it has to be. You want to, you know, since you're going to be only doing, say, 2 hours, you want to make it as entertaining as possible and provide that like really high value content for the shorter duration. And then the longer you push it, you know, you start getting to, when you get to dead GG levels of streaming, when you're doing 22 hours just every other day because that's how you do it, you know, things can kind of get laxed in terms of like, you know, people just want to see you grind and hang out. And that's kind of what it has to be, right? So I don't stream long enough to have that. So it's kind of like really tough for me, especially with the gear I'm at. I have no gear, but it still takes too long for me to get upgrades quickly or to make enough money to be able to do something that won't also...
Wait, how much gear do you have right now? Like, what's your AP? Hello? You guys still there? Like, my call disconnected. Hello?
We can hear you, Fake.
Hello, Fake. What's up?
That was weird. He was just in the middle of what he's saying, and then he just cut out, and then it just went ghost town there. You'll see in the video. It was just like he cut out.
We can still hear you.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. I just had to leave and come back. That was weird. Ghost town. Sorry, go on.
Did you? I don't know if you heard the gear I said.
How much gear do you have? How much AP do you have?
Yeah. So just 278.
Man, imagine being 278 AP and saying you have no gear.
That's
I'm
pretty
sure you have more than me, dude.
Listen, dude, look, 675 gear score Zerker. All right, that's the title of the stream I'm looking at right now. Okay, I have no gear. So,
dude, look, you can't compare that, man.
Well, past that, but you get what I'm saying.
I totally get what you're saying.
You know, so it's like I'm at the point where it's a lot of money to get my next upgrade, but it's not, you know. So the shorter streams that I do usually just feel like I do the same thing where I grind for 2 hours, node war, and then stream's done. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of, I wish I had a little bit of shorter content cycle in that regard, but
Bro, Sakurai when?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I kind of think you might be paying too much attention to the, you know, I think it's more on the Twitch side of things, and at risk of repeating myself.
Is it wrong to say that all of you guys have a competitive nature as well within this?
I don't know, man. I used to to be totally blunt, my competitiveness as far as BDO has declined proportionally to how the cash shop has increased and impacting your progression. The first year of this game, I was super competitive. I was min-maxing every little thing that I could to keep my gear ahead. And now it's much more of kind of just like a long-term, almost like single-player project where I'm trying to increase my gear, but I'm not really measuring myself towards other people because I just don't know what factors are going into, you know, their progression versus mine.
Sorry, Tim. I didn't mean to cut you off there earlier.
No, it's okay.
So like competitiveness in terms of like gear in the game, is that what you mean?
Well,
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too.
Yeah, it's like some people like just to hear Strat say like I have no gear and he's at that gear, and then you know he's you know he's comparing you know his with yours in a sense, and that's why I'm like, do you ever like feel like competitive nature for like you know people who are like paving the way in terms of the gear grind? Do you have like a competitive desire to like push to where they're at? Because I know
Yeah,
I know some people
definitely
look
do.
at it like that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's something wrong with it if you beat yourself up over it and look at it unrealistically. But yeah,
Yeah,
go on.
I'm pretty competitive, and I think that's really the only reason I've ever gotten as far as I have in BDO is I draw inspiration from other people. And you know, when I look up the mountain and I'm like, okay, I start BDO and I'm looking at Lucari and he's soft cap when I start BDO, I'm like, holy crap, like I want to be that. I want to be like the number one guy in the siege kills, whatever. Like I want to be very geared. I don't know if Lucari was ever super geared at his time, but anyway, I was looking at him as like a role model. And then, you know, you pass Lucari and it's like, okay, who's the next guy? And then you're looking at somebody else. And then, you know, I look at Zethian TV was like the most recent where I'm like, man, I want to be that. I want to have that many Kaffir stones. And now I'm looking at like, you know, other people that have higher gear than me. And now I'm looking
And
at all the
Blackstar.
whales out there. Well, now I'm looking at the whales out there and they're like, oh man, these whales are all full pen. And I'm like, okay, that's where I want to be. And so now I'm like chasing the whales. And so for the most part, like
You got a big ass spear, you got a big ass wallet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's that desire that's kind of that's been burning and like kept me going. But at the same token, I still get one comboed by a 285 ninja. I still get one comboed by like a 281 tamer. Like there are still classes like that have low amounts of gear and you can get there in just, you know, 3 or 4 months of active playtime. And I feel like gear score really like intimidates people when in reality, does it really matter that much? Like it matters in the sense that, hey, you are stronger in every aspect of the game because you have more gear. But at the same token, like if you look at the hill that I have to climb right now in order to gain 16 DR, and I think we all know that 16 DR, what is that? Pop in like a Kelk's elixir? You ain't going to be a god for 15 DR, 16 DR, and it's going to cost me literally 120 billion silver. So I feel like people just value that too much, and people like look at the number and they're like, man, I could never kill that person. You can kill people with a lot of gear score.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like the people that want to start playing BDO or that are looking like man, I'll never get to that point. You don't need to get to that point. You just need to play the right class that lends itself well to AP and the class that, you know, has a good burst amount of damage. And at the end of the day, you can still
And at the end of the day, you can still. I'm sorry, my Discord keeps disconnecting me. I don't know what's happening. At the end of the day, you can still what?
I just said at the end of the day, you can still compete with these endgame players at lower amounts of gear score as long as you are playing a class that's like lends itself well to AP. And I think that anybody that wants to start the game like a new player, just look at the classes that are like the assassin classes, start playing those because they don't need as much gear to be relevant quicker, and you can be really relevant in a very short amount of time playing those classes.
Anything else to contribute on this particular topic here, guys?
Think we good.
Okay.
I think it's about finding your niche. You know, the gear and the competition and all that kind of stuff. I think that's a niche, and I think that's where the success in each of our individual channels comes from. Is we all find our niche, we all play to it. You don't have to worry about what your gear is, you know, necessarily. You know, if you're more focused on other things, and
as long as I have a banana, they will come.
Exactly. There's people with bananas. There's people with 2017 Node War guides. There's people who have just terrible podcasts. Yours, I mean, mine not. You know, so
Damn.
The timing of that, damn. I get
So
what you're saying.
it's all about finding an opportunity in the market and attacking it.
No kidding. Fuck, just attack this podcast, why don't you?
And like
So,
in terms of the content creator, just like to add to that, people like seeing the journey, just like Stratified was saying. It's not even about what journey it is. It just has to be a journey. And it doesn't matter if you're the most geared or if you're like just literally making gains and like playing the game efficiently. People want to see how you go from A to B. And so it doesn't matter if you want to be a new streamer, or if you want to be like a new YouTube creator. If you have an idea and you can execute on that journey, then I think people are going to be interested. You got to just do it in an interesting way.
100%.
and what's nice too is being able to look back. That's the one thing that I've really been happy with just making some of the videos, is like looking back on some of the stories and just remembering a place and a time and the surroundings, what life was like, what the gear was like. I still remember my first video that I put up on Pirate Island of just popping a pure blackstone that just did fucking nothing. It's good times. My question to you guys is, how do you mix your schedule as a creator and your real life, and how do you balance it, and how is it balanced? Because I know some people have an easy time with schedules. I know some people don't. I really have to put my foot down to really stay on top of stuff, because if I don't take my Monday, Tuesday off, like, I'm not editing videos, and I'll easily get caught within my stream. My stream is my main vein, but I really want to consistently make sure that I'm keeping up with all the other projects that I have and that I'm working on. And if I really don't discipline myself, it's easy to lose track of time if you're having fun with what you're doing. And goddamn, I'm really grateful that I love what I do. Mind you, like, some of the things that I'm working on may just be like, oh, but it's never like that though. But it's easy to lose sleep. It's easy to skip meals, forget about what time it is, what you might need to do, what you had scheduled. There's times where I've just really had to tighten the fuck up on some of my shit early in the early content creating days, because it's having too much fun. And these days, I just find it, I have to really stay on top of myself with the balance, and it's an active effort. Though I stay consistent with it, it's not like, I don't know, first nature. It's not, it's just not something that I like do as a habit. It's something that I got to consistently stay on top of. I consistently have to remember when, what time it is, when I'm eating, what time it is at night. Should I be going to get some sleep right now? Okay, if I do this, like, I have to make sure that I'm not going past like a certain time. Otherwise, my whole sleep schedule gets fucked up throughout the whole entire week. Or editing something for too long as well. And I really like making sure that if I edit a video, I try to bang it out that editing session. I just then and there. But there's times where, if the video just gets too big, I try to make sure that I'm not pushing it too far into like the next day. So discipline's my my keyword that I have to always stay on top of myself with. What about you guys?
Yeah. So for me, I have my schedule and everything is very, very, very strict in terms of like, work, real life things that I have going on. So like basically everything is, my schedule's really tight as is, because I work and I have a girlfriend I have to go eat dinner with and stuff like that. And it just makes it really, really hard to like go to the gym. Like, I've been trying to go to the gym. Like, I bought a membership like 3 weeks ago, and I'm just like, am I going at 11:30 or am I going to bed? Cause I'm tired, like it gets really tough to like do some of the stuff, to keep that balance. Like you said, it's, you lose track of time. And if you're doing like a,
You don't always have time for everything.
you don't, and you have to make those sacrifices and stuff, but it's not a big deal because it's fun to do it, but my schedule is like, hey, that's the one thing. If there's anything I could change, it'd be the rigidness of my schedule. Like, I would like to not have like such a, because like I said, I'm working until 10 minutes before my stream, and then it's dinner, then it's maybe edited, then it's bed. Like, that's
24/7.
Every time I stream, it's literally that, and then wake up, work, and then rinse and repeat. So it's just how it is.
Yeah, I find that like sleeping less helps a lot with that. So like, I've definitely since started streaming, I've like slept a lot less.
Don't sleep, don't need
But in
it.
terms of,
Dr.
Yeah.
Choice, thank you.
yeah, it's pretty good, man. Extra couple hours a night makes a lot of difference. But another thing is procrastination. If it's 11:30 and you're like, should I go to the gym? Don't even think about it. Just go to the gym. Like procrastination, you have no time for procrastination at all. And I find that if I don't feel like, man, maybe I should be grinding, right? Kind of want to play whatever. I don't know. Just if you have a choice between two things, choose the efficient route and your life is going to change. Like if you put your mind to something and you're just, instead of procrastinating about it, instead of like, opening up, I don't know, freaking Reddit or Facebook and, browsing for 30 minutes or browsing for an hour and just
Great
wasting your
example.
time procrastinating over doing something, just go out and do it. And then you're just going to feel way more productive and you're going to just feel better and more energized.
God damn it. Now
So,
you've motivated
definitely.
me to just edit a fucking video. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. No grinding. I don't got time for these costumes. I'm editing a video tonight. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, man. That's how you got to do it. Just like that. You just don't think about it. Just do it. And once you start doing it, it's actually like not that bad, really.
I think for me, my biggest struggle is all the other responsibilities I have in my life. And, you just have to. I've been self employed for, oh my gosh, almost my entire professional career. So that motivation, that waking up and getting something done when nobody is telling you, hey, you got to get this report in, all that kind of stuff. I'm very used to that. And I think that's been at least part of my success. But, at this point in my life, I have so many other things that streaming I wish I could stream 5 days a week, 6 to 7 hours a night. And I just can't swing it, or else my life will actually completely fall apart. But I'm trying to do enough to where I can still maintain my community, the content that I create, making Siege and Saturday a priority, and still keeping myself interested in the game as well. And going to the people in my life and really expressing to them how important this is to me, and how, at 30 years old, I stumbled into something that is just an incredible passion of mine, and to please help me support that in any way that they can. And so that's what I've been doing the past 6-8 months specifically, is to try to maintain. And I'm really looking for an opportunity to dive in, head first as soon as it makes sense. And, again, my real life won't just completely fall apart.
Scheduling is, when I first started streaming, I was working 2 remote jobs and also streaming at the same time. So I would wake up, I would do my first job for a few hours, and then I would stream, then I would turn the stream off, go eat, work on my second job for a few hours, and then turn the stream back on, stay on till like 4 a.m., sleep for like 3 hours, get up, do it again. And that was pretty much my first 6 months of streaming, so that I could, keep the bills paid and everything. So
You ever hit a wall of just being burnt out?
Yeah, it was. Well, I don't know if I was burnt out, but I definitely there was a lot of physical consequences. Like I was not healthy. I was not working out as much. I was way more like kind of, I don't know, just drained, and like things, it had impacts on my relationships and stuff like that. But I was just so determined to make it work that I just kind of like slammed everything together and just kept doing it.
Fuck. God damn, Jordan,
That
that
is
feeling.
that is crazy. That is awesome to hear. I mean, I know it sucked to do it, but that's really pretty inspiring, actually.
How relatable this story is. Keep going, please.
Well, I mean, at the beginning, I wasn't like, I kind of set myself a time limit. Like, okay, I'm going to do this for, I don't remember what I told myself, 2 months or 3 months or something. Like, I'm going to do this for some amount of time. I have enough, where I can coast if I need to. So I'm going to do this for 2 months or 3 months and see if I can do it. And I had enough momentum at that point where like it wasn't financially viable, but I could see the trajectory, like my YouTube was starting to climb, and people were actually starting to watch my stream. It wasn't just like my aunt and uncle who had their browser open because I called them and asked them to, like people were actually watching. So once I saw like, okay, this is going up every week and I can see the trend of it going up, then that kept me motivated, and then I lost even more sleep. And, eventually it got to a point where I could quit one of the jobs, and then, 6 months after that, quit the other job, and then I could just focus on streaming.
So how does your schedule fare now, currently today?
It's better. Yeah,
You
I'm a
ever
lot
get lost in
healthier
the
now.
sauce, lost in the World of
I,
Warcraft
I still
Classic? I see
I still
you.
definitely, yeah. When Classic came out, everything went right back to being all totally fucked. But that was only for like 2 weeks. Overall, my schedule is a lot better. I'm actually getting up in the morning, and I have time to like exercise. I have time to like clear my thoughts and go outside and get some sunlight and not
Yeah.
get too caught up in everything. So yeah, it's nowadays it's much easier.
Okay, so Black Desert also has a partner program. Let's talk about this. Is everyone a BDO partner?
Nope,
Yep.
I'm not.
Wait, you're not a partner?
No, I guess not. I don't know. I think I signed up for it like I don't know, a while ago, but I just never heard back, and I just
You must
it's like,
not have a pulse.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude.
They took
But,
a
I don't.
long time to get back to me, so I would not think that they just put your application to the side and just said no and didn't do anything. I feel
Yeah.
like they just haven't actually looked at them.
Okay,
Yeah,
number
honestly-
one, it isn't a they, it's a him, and you should probably DM him on Twitter or on Discord.
Nah, it's not a huge deal. Like, I mean, we're probably gonna be talking about the partner program in a whole here, obviously. But I never thought it was.
You have thought
honestly.
correctly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I was gonna say, aside from Strat, how do you guys think the BDO partner program benefits you as a creator in its current state?
Is that a trick question?
I'm not starting this.
Who's gonna start?
And absolutely no.
I can just hear people tapping their fingertips together.
In absolutely no way. I mean, like, we'll get a retweet or something like that, and it's cool to see you on their social media or something like that. But is that part of the program? There is no program. Is the easy answer? There is no program. And so they've tossed around a couple of ideas and stuff like that. We've had a couple of things dangled in front of us, but as of this moment, there is no program outside of social media exposure.
For me, I am sort of like taking this from a different perspective, I guess, than what you guys might have really considered. But
Please.
For me, the partner program, it allowed me to be in more direct contact with actual employees at Kakao. I don't think if I wasn't a BDO partner, I would know or be able to contact as many GMs as I can contact right now.
True.
And so that alone is pretty valuable to me. But in terms of the actual exposure, like, I've been the featured partner before, like several months ago. It didn't really change my metrics in terms of like, average viewership to the stream or anything like that. I've been tweeted about in terms of, AOB thing. That doesn't really change too much. Like, in terms of like drawing, you're not going to become a BDO partner and expect, wow, my stream is about to blow up or my YouTube or whatever is about to blow up.
Wait, that's not
It's
how it
just
works?
No, yeah, it's just not going to happen. It's purely to be more in like direct contact with GMs. You can ask more like specific questions to them. They're not going to tell you anything that you couldn't really figure out on your own. But for the most part, just being in that contact with GMs. And then also, I do like the idea in the past how they had like partner only events with the Shadow Arena thing. I know it was a disaster, but just the idea of something like that, kind of for the future, if they can pull something off like that, being a part of the program for me is like, what if opportunity in that situation. But just the contact alone is great.
So I used to be much more kind of bitter about all this before I saw behind the curtain a little bit, and now I think it just kind of is what it is. Like, I used to get very mad at specific people at Kakao and like blame a lot of things on them. And honestly, after working with these guys for a long time and seeing how it works, I think all it really is that there's just so many links in the chain and so many different like levels of hierarchy and responsibility and stuff that it's just hard to get anything done even for them. And so I don't really blame anyone at Kakao. I think a lot of them like really care and try as hard as they can to get things done. But there's so many moving pieces at Kakao, and then so many additional moving pieces at Pearl Abyss. And a lot of these people don't even speak the same language, and they're trying to, coordinate across 15 different emails. And it's just the whole system is kind of it's hard to get anything done, and I don't think that's any one person's fault. I think that there are people and GMs who really care and really want to get stuff done, but at the end of the day, the truth of it is just nothing ever really does get done.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's nice every now and again to have a little bit of love on social media, which I wish was a little bit more. I wish it was more active for some of the creators. Like, I wish they genuinely just would consider, they have the partner for the week. It's just, I don't know. It'd be cooler to see more active media engagement because they have a lot of artwork submissions and whatnot. It would be enjoyable to see more submissions that they can take from clips, moments, this, that, videos. Because, like, they've got so many active creators, and I don't know. There's always something we can always do better. But in terms of, the question being, like, does the program benefit me in its current state? I think, honestly, the only thing I can take into consideration is just having the direct communication that Choice has brought up. And it's been beneficial to some degree, I would say.
Yeah, I was
just for
as someone who's not a partner, when you're reaching out for like these whatever it may be, maybe it's like you can't speak on this, but like, is the contact time, like when you reach out to someone, do they get back to you quick at least? Like,
I mean,
within like
as long as you
hour,
talk to
Yeah,
them like normal people, it's usually like pretty instant, honestly. But like,
we get really quick responses. They're just not really substantive. And again, that's not Cacao's fault. It's just like, you ask them a question and they say, either like we'll reach out to them in our next meeting, or like we can't disclose that. Like, you know what I mean? It's always their hands always seem tied.
We'll be back to you after these messages.
Yeah. So, isn't that a problem in itself? Like all the bureaucratic, like just
it's a huge problem.
Yeah,
it's slimmed down
this game's development.
Yeah.
This game has like 300 developers, man. And I mean, not all of those are on PC. A lot of them are console and mobile, but that's just Pearl Abyss. That's not even before we get to the NAEU publisher side of thing, which is then 10 more layers of bureaucracy that the GMs have to go through before they can even speak to someone who actually works for the game's development. Like it's a big mess, dude. But it's hard to pin down exactly whose responsibility that is to fix.
So rather than taking that route as well, my question is, what kind of improvements would you make, if any, if you could, in the BDO partner program specifically, to help enhance the experience for the creator and the player?
So I actually had a really good interaction on the Pearl Abyss side of things when I was playing Xbox, and that's part of the reason that kept me at Xbox for as long as it did. Is they would have like in-game announcements, so and so content creator is putting on this event on their channel, like across everybody's screen. You can't take it off. So everybody who's playing Xbox saw your channel and what you're doing, and it drove a ton of traffic to your channel. So if I was doing like this is how you play
a special or something,
Wizard, when Wizard just came out, and yeah, it's easier to do that kind of stuff when things first come out, but it was also play against the CMs and RBF. It was they had pretty much built my YouTube channel by just retweets and putting my clips out there. There was a couple of we were talking about this at dinner at TwitchCon actually. There's a couple of people at Pearl Abyss that really find me a couple of, when I get toxic, they really like it, and they cleaned it up a little bit, but I'd see a palpable increase in followers and all that stuff because of they were constantly putting our YouTube videos out there, constantly putting clips that they thought were funny. They were coming into our streams. They were subbing in our streams. They were doing all this kind of stuff. They were just so active. And I don't feel like Pearl Abyss is really doing anything that's outside of Cacao Games' reach. I feel like Cacao Games just might be beat down a little bit because of the politics and the stress between, or what I perceive to be a stress between Cacao Games and Pearl Abyss. So I feel like that, the Pearl Abyss, not the development, but the publishing team is just fresh, new, and had a clear direction. They knew what they were going to do, and they got it done. Where I just, I don't want to. I like a lot of the guys at Cacao Games and stuff like that.
Come on.
It just doesn't feel like the effort is there, and they gave up.
Thank you.
So, I'm gonna just throw this out here just because why the hell not? Even though I'm not even a partner, but imagine
Come on.
a world
Hit me.
where they gave you, they ripped a page from the good old Fortnite book. They gave you a little code, and every time you bought pearls or
Yes.
whatever, right? So like what, right there, just as someone, I'm not even a partner, so I wouldn't be able to
been
get from
floated.
anything from
That was floated like I don't even know, man, over a year ago. But again, it's just one of those things that never came to fruition.
You could
it's
do
a
it on
lot of-
It
Mixer.
was talked about before, though. I never
Yes.
even knew that. That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, but everything is talked about, man. That's kind
Alright.
of my point. Like everything gets talked about, and after this many years, it's like, so what's actually gotten done? I mean, the partner
Yeah,
program
exactly.
is pretty old at
Exactly.
this point.
Yep. It's 2 years old. What has changed?
Well,
Yes.
we had a content creator in Xbox
Contact.
that
It's the contact that's changed. That's it. Sorry. Go on. Don't mean to cut you off.
that's fine. And that is true. So I didn't value that because I seem to have had a connection with some of those guys beforehand. So that was a good point, Choice, is that it is way easier to talk to the GMs and CMs once you get into that little partner part of the Discord. Or I forgot what I was going to say.
However, that's not that's all that's changed in 2 years. 2 fucking years. It's a long time, man. And we've seen some ideas come up that haven't gone through well. BR event for the partners.
Okay, but can I break down that VR event real quick? Because I think that's a perfect example of what I'm trying to describe here.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah, go take away.
here's what actually happened with the Battle Royale event. So we had people from Cacao, who some of them were, very active players in the communities, people like Good Vibes Guy who wanted to put on a good event, who were part of the community before they got their job at Cacao. And they had a good idea. Like everything, the setup for the tournament was going to be really good. And then a few days before, like I think 1 or 2 days before the event was supposed to happen, Pearl Abyss arbitrarily hot fixes the Musa bug into Shadow Arena. It wasn't even a patch day. It was like a Friday afternoon. And they hot fixed the Musa bug into the game so that the whole system is just the whole game is completely thrown off for that weekend where we were supposed to have a tournament. And for whatever reason, even though Pearl Abyss was at the office in time to hot fix the bug into the game, they couldn't be bothered to go back to the office and hotfix it out of the game, despite the fact that their NAEU partners were relying on them for that to work. Okay, so that was the first weekend, so we postponed it. And then 2 weeks after that, we have the event that's been postponed now because of this bug.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes time for the event to happen the second time, another technical issue pops up from Pearl Abyss's side where now the local lobbies, the private lobbies, just don't work. And they tested it, the week before, but something that happened on that Wednesday's patch broke it for the event on Saturday, so that private lobbies just don't even work. And they found out about it that morning. So I don't know, maybe it's Cacao's fault for not testing it on like Wednesday night or Thursday night. But at the end of the day, like this is what I'm talking about. You've got all these different people working on the game. They're not communicating. Things are breaking behind the scenes. And then when you finally need it to get fixed, it's like, oh, well, we're not back till Monday. And so twice in a row, the event got scuffed. And the second time, we finally were like, okay, well, I guess we'll just play in public lobbies since we can't use the private ones.
And everyone looks bad.
And that I wasn't super into the partner, like the BDO partner scene. I didn't really know too much about it at that point in time. But
there's
I
never
heard,
really been one.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you get what I'm saying. But I heard about that, and I heard a ton of bad publicity. I was like, yikes, that's not looking good. That's a bad look.
Yeah, and so then they never tried to do anything like that again. And can you blame them?
Yeah, I mean, you can't blame them, but you can at the same time, because at the end of the day, it was their problem that they didn't solve, and they weren't paying I don't know, communication thing, like you said. Stuff like that is so difficult to make work.
Another one, actually. Hold on, let me pull up this. They planned like a VIP escort. It was like transport the VIP who would be a community manager in a battle in the Shadow Arena thing. And they had this all planned out. I even got an invite in an email. And I forgot the politics of what happened, but that got scuffed too. I think it was more of the same kind of the patches.
Well, it might have been because they deleted Shadow Arena from the entire game. I think
it was the cheaters. That's what it was.
Think it was
That's
just
right.
that happened.
So they kept trying. It was all focused around Shadow Arena and stuff, but
Well, the question is,
No.
again, are there any improvements that you would make, if any? Because now, like, for example, we were talking about, the suggestion was like, can you imagine if affiliate codes were in this game? That would be huge, honestly, because as of recent, I've been grinding for getting costumes, for getting pen attempts, and I'm not gonna lie, while streaming, I've been asking viewers if there's anyone that's like, hey, if you guys ever want to sell a costume, hit me up. Like just earlier, someone messaged me on Discord being like, hey, you want to buy a costume? I'm gonna be posting one. It's like, I'll hit you up first. I was like, oh yeah, sure, and that's the costume I actually just bought. And I just think of how many costumes I've actually managed to, I don't know, in a sense, like get sold. And it'd be kind of cool because, I mean, we are essentially at the end of the day as creators and whatever, and advertisers, like we're advertising so many buying decisions as well into the game. Like how many fucking tents, I would love to know how many tents I've helped sell in this game. I'd love to know how many costumes I've driven, costume sales I've driven to the cash. I'd love to know those numbers and how many people are making a final buying decision because of not necessarily like of our promotions, but just of like our help to reassure them if they want to get those T3, T4 pets. And like that goes a long way for people. That goes a long way for the business. And as a creator too, if they had programs like that, I feel like more people would be itching to stream as well, to some degree, because it's a small sense of motivation. But that's not what I was gonna suggest though. What I was also gonna say was like I feel like, we talk about the the BDO partner BR event, and the prize of that was Lauren boxes, and it was one winner was gonna get it. And still to this day, I'm surprised that they can't generate something that we can like give back to players. Like what if we had like 5 Lauren boxes just give to our viewers, and then you
that's
couldn't.
what they did.
The only way you can open it is just by being able to send it to someone. What I'm suggesting is like why wouldn't they be able to do something that more regularly for us? Like they've given away like the 1-day comma blessing, the 1-day value pack, and like whatever. Like I'm just surprised that little packages and whatnot to help drive like the interaction for the creator and the player isn't taken more into consideration to give back. Because even then, like people see these little details and they get noticed and they get remembered as well. And I think there's things that you can do to use these partners as like messengers to give back and talk back and communicate back to your community through so many other ways of that just aren't game breaking, that seriously just are not game breaking.
I mean, Pearl Abyss even gave me a costume
Whoever
on
that
Xbox.
was, give him a high five.
Pearl Abyss gave me a costume for doing like a special stream on Twitch or whatever the case was, and they just mail it to us and they retweet it, and like there's
Dude,
very
I did a
easy
special
things
talk
you
on
can.
Striker on Xbox. They didn't give me shit. Lucky guy. I'm jealous.
I don't know if
it has anything to do with luck.
Yeah, Tim, I don't mean to cut you off here, but Anfield put in a really awesome idea that I think would just be amazing. Is if you were a BDO partner, you can connect your Twitch account to your BDO account somehow or some way and get the emotes for the sub that you like for one sub.
like a
put
Twitch
it in
Prime
BDO.
thing. Twitch, dude, they do Twitch Prime loot all the time.
Yeah, so if you think about it, like it would be something that is,
That'd be
if
amazing.
someone is like interested in supporting a stream, and they're already doing it, being a BDO partner allows you to put an emote, have people put your emotes in the chat, like similar to the Black Spirit thing, and then you get a banana, you get a ook thank, or you get whatever it would be. And
quit
I think
BDO emote.
yeah. But you get what I'm saying. I think that's something that would be really beneficial to not only like, people see like, oh, creator codes or whatever the hell that Fortnite calls it. Those things are just like benefits to the only the content creator. But this is something that other people can also use who don't make content. And not everyone, has to make content and feels like they should be like have to make content in order to make it worth it, right? I don't know if those creator codes kind of facilitate that.
I don't think there's one answer though. I think there's multiple things. Like there's a lot of little sweet little things that I feel like aren't going to be a crazy amount of effort that could be done to make things feel more official and give people, and creators in the directory like more reason to play this game and set those goals. Yeah, first I'm gonna get BDO
Yeah.
partner, then I'm gonna shoot for Twitch partner. Like it gives people purpose, and when you give people like the official BDO partner and they can say they are and stuff like that. Like sure, it's cool at first, but then I would love to have something that's like, yeah, over 2 years, it's like it's changed so much, and now like being a partner today is so much different than what it was before, but it's really not. And what can still be done is, still kind of exists as, I don't know, just suggestive content. Like even like BDO partner title in game, I don't think that'd be over the top. I think that's one of those things that would drive conversation for players in game.
I think they talked about that a long time ago. They just haven't done it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that in terms of what you were saying, Fake, about being able to give away stuff to the community, I think that would be very cool as well. And, even if they did it in a way where it's like you can give away 20% off in the Pearl shop, like actually nothing, actually nothing to them, but actually will drive a sale to their own Pearl shop.
Yeah,
Like
that's
something
a really
like
good
that would be a
point.
benefit to the community.
30%
really-
off,
yeah.
only 5, right? Like,
Yeah, and it doesn't expire. It doesn't expire either, so you can use it whenever they want. Like
it's
something
totally
like that
harmless.
would be harmless and also like be a benefit to them and still a benefit to the user that's probably going to end up spending those pearls anyway.
Mm-hmm. It's a really great point. So on the topic of, is there any improvements or changes to the current BDO partner program that you would make to help benefit you as a creator? Okay. Are there things that you feel like PA Cacao could do to improve your experience as a creator? So this isn't as a BDO partner. This is as your experience as a creator.
Group content, please.
Yeah,
for
that
the
was
love
good.
of
That
God.
was gonna be my
For the love of
answer.
God.
I would love to have, like Altar of Blood. They changed the drop rates for that event. They raised it by twice the amount. I thought it wasn't too OP. If they kept it indefinitely into the game, I wouldn't have had a sour opinion towards that. I would have been more excited about it because at least I could still have some days where I might be zonked out from grinding, and I'll just hit up my buddy Choice, or I'll just hit up my buddy Moro, or I'll hit up my buddy Vert and be like, hey, you guys want to hang out and play some Altar of Blood and do whatever? Yeah, sure, let's do that. Awesome. But now that Altar of Blood event, the drop rate event's gone, this is just an assumption, but I feel like it's safe to say that not too many people are, in comparison, are doing Altar of Blood these days. So for me, to enhance my experience, I'd love something that just allows me to hang out with my amigos a little bit more in this game that offers
Just looking
nothing
at
but PvE.
Looking at the Altar of Blood rankings for Wave 10, there was a lot of people doing Wave 10 during the event. It has not changed at all since the event ended. Not a single person has done Wave 10. So I
thought you were going to blow my mind there and be like, you'd be surprised how many people have completed it now.
No, nobody's doing it.
Wow. Sad day.
But yeah, I agree a lot with Stratified group content, repeatable group content that's like that's player versus player in a sense. I think that is like a huge thing that's missed out on. And, we're going to go back to the old faithful RBF, like something like that has maintained its popularity over the course of the game and still been an active thing. Like right now on a Monday, you can jump in there. There's 41 people currently in it. You can still join it. Like there's a demand for that. There's people that want to go out there and PvP and like fight other players. And while Altar Blood is great, I think that's like the step in the right direction for group content in that part of the game, that the people that enjoy that PvE content, having something that's like a queuable, just like what Shadow Arena was, even if it's not ridiculously overpowered, like RBF is not ridiculously overpowered, something like that has like stakes, just like Shadow Arena, just like RBF, where if you win, you get more rewards. Something that has, other players as the key factor is playing with others. And also the key factor being some sort of PvP. I think all those three things mixed together, it would be really hard to like kind of mess that up. It'd be really tough. I think if they made some sort of game mode that catered to that, it would be so easy to just jump into a game like that and just have fun and like, stream and create content around that and it's repeatable because every game is going to be different and it's just overall exciting. So I would really love to see something like that, and it would really make streaming, and like if you wanted to have that like high intensity entertaining stream instead of just a chill grind stream, it'd be like the go-to piece of content.
My idea, and this is pretty complicated, so give me a couple minutes to explain this.
Take your
Take
time.
exactly what WoW Arena is and put that into BDO. 2v2, 3v3, 5v5. Put it in the Arena of Arsha thing that's already there. Put a small ranking system with cosmetic rewards. Boom, amazing content.
I agree with that 100%. Oh my
Talked
God,
about
that'd be
this before as well. I feel like more and more people have been
I
asking
know.
for it. And Battle Arena exists on mobile, man. That's what baffles me, is that this game mode that we want exists in mobile.
That poor guy debated in Joyce's chat. Get fucked. He's like, oh man, here goes Tim with another really long idea.
Any other things you guys think that could be implemented into the game to improve your experience as a player? Anything notable? I know some of you guys are streaming. Anything notable you can take suggestions from anyone's chat?
Yeah, a lot of people agreeing with the whole 5v5 battle arena and arena stuff, and they sort of did kind of dabble in that, right?
Yeah,
like
what if we
team
could have a
battle is thing.
Manos tree chopping contest? I'm just saying.
I'm looking
I mean,
for
we already-
a Lakiaro Battle Royale. I would stream that for 30 hours a day. Thank you.
That'd be
We got to be careful with these ideas. Like, I know you're kidding, but there's stuff like that that's actually in the game. Like horse racing. Horse racing is a thing in this game. Nobody does it. Team battle is a 5v5 PvP game mode. Nobody does it. You have to do it in the right kind of way. Like, I'm not sure what made team battle fail other than the fact that one person that's super strong or like just a sork can wipe the entirely, the entire 5-person team on the enemy team without anybody getting to play. But it's not. It seems like in aspects they've looked at team battle and they're like, wow, that failed hardcore. I guess we're not doing anything like that again. They just did it the wrong way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that more player versus player interaction like that done in the right way is just going to be super popular, and everybody's going to love it, man.
I think more leaderboards and icons just in general would be super good for this game and
Yes.
super good for streaming. If there were leaderboards for titles, leaderboards for energy, ecology, for going back to Lakiaro, fastest clear time for each stage, like
They're keeping
the
track
things
of
you
how
just
many
said,
monsters you've
fastest
killed.
Yeah, like monsters killed, fastest horse race of each tier. Like there's so many
Give me my
things that they could
Slayer
add
icon.
leaderboards for that people would chase after for hours, and it would be really good content for streams as well.
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, right? It's got a, yeah, I agree with you. But that being said, like there is leaderboards for Altar of Blood. I'm currently rank 1 on there. I don't think anybody cares about that. Like it's got to be something that people care about too.
Where's your Ultra Blood medal?
Care if there was an icon over your head.
They would,
Yeah.
If there was some sort of a tangible thing, it has to be other than a leaderboard. Like leaderboards are great, but medals are cool. I think people care a lot about medals, and if there was a medal for Altar of Blood, people would care about it more. But also, I would love to see like physical in-game things, like a costume or something you can wear. Like I don't know, like
something that's not
just
game
in-game
breaking.
achievements.
2%
Yeah.
drop increase for every medal you had.
I have a Sorry, go ahead.
See, if you do that though, then new players will never have a chance to get certain ones.
Oh, who cares?
what if they did something like resettable leaderboards or like seasons? So like for RBF, say every single patch or every single reset maintenance, the leaderboard gets wiped, and whoever has the most points by the end of the week, or top 5, top 10, whatever they would want to do, they could give rewards based out like on who's like on where you ranked and stuff like that.
Like
maybe if
seasons.
you like seasons, but like every week, right? So like it could be kind of fun if you wanted to like do RBF, but like realistically RBF is horrible waste of time in terms of like progression, atrocious money, and there's a lot of times it's just like not really worth doing unless you just want a PvP for the sole reason of PvPing. But that would add a lot of value back into it while making it kind of competitive, and also just not really it's how hard could that possibly be? And if top 10 gets something, and I don't know what it would be, but it could be pretty tame.
Hey,
It wouldn't
getting
really
a
matter.
something sounds pretty nice.
Exactly, So like anything, I think people would care a lot more about RBF and maybe make it a little bit more competitive instead of people just running it down straight into the enemy spawn and just going for 1v30s,
Yeah, but I definitely like the medal idea. because there's leaderboards for stuff that people don't care about for sure, like Altar of Blood being one of them. But there's also War Hero ranking. Like, when's the last time anyone's opened the War Hero and seen that family name Small and Ugly is the #1 War Hero? Like something like that. It doesn't really spark any sort of like pride in the sense that you see somebody that has some sort of a medal and you're like, wow, what's that medal? Or actually like recognize like, yeah, that's the #1 War Hero, or that's the #1 whatever. So leaderboards have to have something that physically alters your character in some way while you're moving around, or like physically alters something that you're
People
using in the
love
game, like your
cosmetics,
horse or
man.
something.
Auras would be badass. I still think to this day having like different styled auras as like compensation for some of those things would be bad fucking ass. He who created the archaeologist map, yeah, it's great that you can use something like that, but it'd be even cooler if you got, a title that stood out, letting people know that, yeah, you grinded this and you do have it. Something that just gives you like the ability to flex that rather than just putting it in world chat. I don't think necessarily you should give something for maybe that, but as an example of something that's just daunting to do in this game, he who built the compass, like that's an insane thing to do, right?
And at the
like, what if someone got a steampunk clockwork top hat? I don't know. Just like, not saying that's the answer, but like people love shit like that, and being able to have stuff that just flexes what they have. Not everyone wants to do that, but
to circle back into the question, like would be all great stream content, all of it pushing like this week I'm gonna be doing the Lakiaro medal and trying to be #1 Lakiaro or something, like whatever it may be, get the medal, do whatever. It's all stuff that you can create a story around and build entertaining content,
and rivalries between
and
different
rivalry,
streamers,
and
And
exactly,
it still builds hype and momentum in the game, because how many times do we hear people being like, hey, I got back into this game because of, something someone was doing or what I watched or any one of you guys.
Or anything besides enhancing ever.
Yep.
Like, let's be honest.
Yep.
So that's the only hype thing is when you hit enhancement. So like that'd be cool. And then you could get cool. Like I think the RBF thing, the leaderboard reset every week would be so fun, because the top PvPers in this game would just talk mad shit to each other. Like, wow, not even rank 10, absolute dog. You know what I mean? Like
all the life skillers going off on one another.
Exactly. Yeah,
I would also like to see the leaderboards. Also, I think it's important that a lot of what we've been talking about is based purely on like time investment. I think there's some leaderboards that need to be
skill
based on like skill, and also like just maybe even a pure bit of luck in a sense. Like, so like RBF leaderboard for most amount of kills in a single match on like Velia 4, for example. I think something like that, instead of just, wow, this guy literally grinded out RBF for 20 hours for the entire week. Of course he's #1. Like something like that has to be a competition that is winnable by somebody that's a weekend warrior, for example.
Yeah. I also have a question, I guess. Someone messaged me and asked me this. Has there been anything in this game that has been completely implemented solely by community want? Has there been a thing that has, like say we have
really
an
good
idea.
Question.
We have an idea here and it actually gets put in. Has that ever happened before? I think so. I can't think of a single thing.
Yeah.
Just small stuff. Nothing comes to mind, but it's happened with a few things. Nothing really game changing though.
Yeah, just like bug fixes or quality of life stuff. Because I'm trying to think of like content wise. Like, has anyone ever came up with an idea? People agreed with it?
I've been watching with Potion. I was watching Potion Shop stream, and there was one week where he suggested the game having like increased drop rate events and stuff like that for grind spots and stuff like that. And then like a couple weeks after, they made it an event in game, and all I could think of was like, man, I remember like Potion just like going on and on about this and how it would work, and then next thing you know, it was like in the game a couple weeks later. So I've seen that, but I haven't seen like a collab with ideas brought to the table and then like really bringing them to fruition.
I can tell you that the opposite definitely exists, where devs will watch streams to see what players are doing so that they can nerf it or delete it from the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But anyway, like to stay on the topic
hunting.
of things that have the things that have changed because of like community, I think that Masilas definitely got RBF buffed, like almost single-handedly. I'm pretty sure like the amount of times that he talked about buffing RBF and the amount of months that he went on about it, and then they finally buffed it, I think that he probably had a big influence in that.
I agree with that 100%. does it. He still says it every day. Hopefully, hey, do it again, buddy. Let's make it work again. All right.
God's work.
But like, it's never been something like, wow, I have this really elaborate, well thought out idea. I've made this Google document. This is how it all would work. This is the piece of content. Like, I don't think anything new has ever existed in the game. Just changes have happened to specific content that's already existed as a result of like community want. But even those examples are few and far in between.
Yeah, because the one thing that I love this podcast, and I love when like a lot of people start talking about all of their ideas and stuff like that. It's so much fun to like hear other people's perspectives.
That
but
was
like,
the point of this
Yeah,
episode.
yeah, nothing ever happens though, and I just wanted to know if if it has ever happened in the past, and if it's never like
I mean,
is
it goes back to the
possible
line.
that something
It goes back
happens?
to the answer that Moreland had earlier too, because like there's been a lot of suggestions that a lot of us have made, and it's just been. I mean, yeah, we'll get back to you on this. We'll let you know. We'll tell them. We'll see what they say, and it comes down to there are
We never
a
get
lot of different
constructive
people and
feedback.
decision makers in the line. Sorry, go on, Tim.
We never get constructive feedback when we like come up with an idea and give it to them, right?
Yep.
Just as a community, even if it's just like a really dog shit idea, like 75% of the things that we babble on about are,
Mhm.
but they never go, this is why it can't work, but we could do something like that if this, right? And so there was a couple of CMs that would leak those types of, well, that's not within our control. And then, they're leaking company information or whatever the case is. I don't know what happens up, down, left, right. But like
Mhm.
we get these a couple of years ago, we had a CM that would talk to us and level with us. And then more recently we had a couple more, and then they don't stick. And so these people that are almost, I don't want to call them, they're just
say-
positive thinking, right? So they're just trying to help. And then it just doesn't work out for whatever reason, or they quit, or whatever the case is. But if they just gave us some feedback on why it can't happen, and maybe give us some confines of how to come up with an idea that they can work with, that would be great, instead of just ignoring it completely.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're all trying to do things that benefit this game and its community and ourselves. Being a creator, being a BDO partner, I'm pretty sure this is pretty much what we just covered. This led into this, but I'm going to repeat this. Do you have any ideas where PA and Cacao could come together with the creator to enhance the experience for the viewer? So I've already mentioned something like this with, stuff that they could give, let's say monthly or quarterly, to streamers, where they gave them packages with items that the only way you could use them is by giving them to other people, so that you can't use these items that they're giving to you for yourself. For example, 1-day Comma Blessing, 1-day Value Pack. Choice has suggested discount coupons in the cash shop that don't expire, which I think are a great idea. And other little things. Is there anything else when I ask that question that comes to the top of your guys' minds? Yeah, I feel like we've already covered this.
Yeah, I don't want to rehash anything.
No, fair enough. Okay, well, that's really all I have for you guys. We're 20 minutes past the, I would say, regular schedule. However, this was great. This was awesome. I feel like this is a really great conversation to have with you guys, and I appreciate you guys being very open and honest and putting some of your guys' ideas and thoughts and opinions on the table, because I know this was a little bit more of a personal kind of experience throughout this episode. So I hope you guys listening in the streams have also enjoyed your guys' time here spent as well. If you guys, again, like anyone in the podcast, specifically all of these guys are creators and want to take a look at anyone here, all their links will be down in the description down below. And as far as that goes, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Mixed Stratified Partner.